Thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Today I'm going to work on the My Favorite Things art journal, and I'm doing a prompt for what is your favorite childhood toy? What was your favorite toy in childhood? Did you like to play with dolls? My brother loved G.I. Joes. I loved Barbies. But my all-time favorite thing was playing jacks. I could play jacks by the hour, and my grandmother played jacks with me. I had a double set. They usually came in sets of 10, and I had a double set, and we would go all the way up to picking up 20 with one hand. Oh my gosh, we had so much fun playing jacks, and I did it by myself a lot, and I did it with my grandmother a lot. So this is definitely my favorite childhood toy, and what a fun memory to look back upon, and I'm so happy to have it in my Favorite Things art journal. So if you're just stumbling upon the My Favorite Things art journal challenge, it is taking an art journal. This one is a Strathmore 400 series watercolor book, and it is a landscape version book, but you don't have to have this book. You can do it in anything. And it is, I'm giving out prompts for different My Favorite Things, and then I create a page so you can just watch me create and maybe get some ideas and some inspiration, and then you go and create your pages. There is a Facebook group. If you are on Facebook and you want to join the group and show what you've created, we love that. It's a very sweet and supportive group of ladies that are all having fun making a My Favorite Things art journal. And don't worry about being too far behind. It doesn't matter. This is an ongoing project. There's no time limit. There is a playlist. I'll give the link in the description box below for the playlist of the whole series. So it starts with the very beginning and the first pages of My Favorite Things, and it takes you through all the pages we've done so far and all the prompts so far, and you can do it at your own pace and take your time. I mean, it can take a year or more to make if you want to, but when it's done, we'll have a completed book. Then we'll decorate the cover, and what a fun book to have of art journaling your favorite things. So let's get started, and I'll show you how I created this. I searched the internet for a good picture of the kind of Jackson ball that I had as a kid, and found this, and it had this cute jacks with a high bounce ball, so I'm gonna use the middle part of that too from this picture. So I just printed it out on regular copy paper. For my initial layer of paint, I'm using paint and a baby wipe instead of a paintbrush to just apply the paint on the page. The baby wipe just really gives it a nice, even, quick coverage. Because this is like a craft colored paper, it's just kind of dull, and I want to make it a little more of a cream color. But the baby wipe just makes it easier. Paintbrush, you use a lot more paint. And look how fast, poof, I've got a change of color on my page. And I've chosen red and blue and yellow as my colors because I'm trying to pick up the colors that are in the ball that are in the picture. So that's how I came up with my colors. And I'm going to just do the paint scraping method where you just put a little bit of paint and you scrape it with a plastic card. This is nothing new, but I am going to dry it completely in between each one because obviously red and yellow and blue will make their primary colors, and they will make secondary colors if they blend together, and I don't want that. So I'm going to put this acrylic paint down, get it the way I want it, and then completely dry it before I move on to my next color. So I don't want to make green, and I don't want to make orange. I want the colors to stay red and yellow and blue. So I'm going to dry that and come back and add my next color. I want to make sure I don't overdo it on the red. Just a touch, because red can be pretty crazy. And this is just using a plastic gift card to spread the paint. Looking pretty fun. And for the blue, I'm going to use a water brush with a pretty big tip because I kind of want the blue, I want the blue to be, I'm just trying something, pressing down and bringing it up and making it a little more interesting than just the so I'm like pushing down and then picking it up and then kind of rolling it. I'm just trying to make that shape a little bit more swirly looking. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. A little interesting. I like it. It's different. I'm going for kind of that wild, crazy look that's in the look of that ball that goes with the jacks. This is just kind of a fun and freeing little activity here, making these little dauber-doos. That's the fun thing about art journaling. You kind of just grab your supplies and grab your tools and just go crazy. Try some different things and don't worry so much about making a mistake and it having to be perfect. If you don't like it, you can always paint over it. You can put gesso over the top. You can say, oh, this turned out terrible, I hate it, so I'm going to just cover the whole thing with some gesso. Okay, I like that. I think it needs some white or some cream color, so I'm going to add that next after the blue dries. So as you're watching and following along with me, I mean, I realize your page isn't going to be exactly the same. You're not going to probably have this as your toy. It's just playing and showing you what I'm doing to maybe give you some ideas of some fun things to do on your pages that maybe you haven't tried. So it's just for inspiration and for fun. So I'm coming back in with some white. It's more of an off-white. This is a vintage white, so it's not stark white. And I'm going to do the same thing. I even use my fingers to make it crazy. Ooh, I like that. Do a little finger painting here and there. It's a little too much. So I'm going to wipe it away. And the white might ruin what I had started here, so I don't want to do too much of it. I'm making my fingers all messy. Messy, messy. Probably look like a kid, right? Hey, that's the point of art journaling. We're all like having fun. Plus we're doing our favorite toy as a kid, so if you want to finger paint, by all means. Let's do some crazy little mark making, make it some interest. Yeah. See, and it starts to come together. Just the more you play, the more it comes together. And if it doesn't and you don't like it, just erase it. Put some gesso over it and start again. The pages can take it, believe me. And in these journals that you buy, they're meant to do lots of layers and crazy stuff. So Don't get hung up about using it and breaking that page and then just enjoying the process. Okay. I know it looks wild and crazy, but that's cool because I kind of wanted that for this, and it goes with that bouncy ball. See how it kind of looks the same? Next I'm going to cut out the center part of this packaging, this vintage packaging here, this circle that says jacks, metal jacks, and bouncing ball. And for the jacks, I think I'm going to just tear this out. And if you tear it towards yourself, you get that cool white image, and I do want that this time, so I'm tearing towards myself so I get that inside parts of the paper. So I'm getting my images laid out and cut out, and now I think what I'm going to do is take a piece of paper and draw a big jack that I can put right here. So about the size of my hand, I'm going to draw and cut out a image of a jack. Now I'm going to erase my pencil lines, trim it out, and then I'm going to use it as a template to draw a second one, the outside shape, and cut out 2, possibly 3 of them. As I started to cut out these jacks that I've created, I came up with an idea. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some Tombow Mono liquid glue. This is the one that is it's permanent or removable. It's removable if you put it on and let it dry, then it's almost like a post-it note. If you put paper down and put paper to paper, wet to wet, and let it dry, then it's permanent. So what I'm going to do, hopefully this still has some glue in it, I'm going to go on the back of it and I'm going to put on, I'm going to put on some glue here, just a little bit, and then I'm going to spread that out and I'm going to let it dry to make this removable. So here it is, and it's dry on the back, except what it did is just make it tacky, so it's removable. And what I want to do, my idea, is I'm going to put it down and use it as a mask. So I'm taking a cosmetic sponge and some dark blue paint, and I'm letting my paint be see-through. I'm not putting it on really solid. I'm putting it on kind of see-through so that I can still see my cool, funky background, my colors. Hopefully this will convey what I have in my mind. I get ideas and I never know how they're going to turn out. I just wing it. And sometimes they turn out awesome, and sometimes they turn out kind of crazy. Sometimes they're totally different than what I thought they would be. Okay. So now, let us reveal. Oh, so cool. I'm so glad I thought of this. Look, that's cool. Now I've got a jack in the background, so I'm going to put this down and turn it some different ways and re-stick it some on the page and off the page, and you can keep reusing it over and over. It re-sticks. So if I come up here and I do it again, How fun. And I don't know about you guys, but don't you just get so excited when you start to do something, you've got an idea, and when it works, and you just are so happy. Look at the Jack's background. It just turned out so fun, and I had no idea that that's where I would be going with this. But I love it. It's turning out great. That was a really fun mask to do. I enjoyed that, and now I got to lay out my little pieces here and my other ones that I'm going to cut out that I drew. I'm still going to put a couple of those on the page as well, but it's starting to come together. So I've got my gray cardstock Jacks cut out and laid out where they're going to go. I'm going to glue them down with art glitter glue because I'm going to use colored pencil to do some shading and coloring over them. I could use matte gel medium, but I still think just having nothing on top of them and letting it be just the cardstock will be better for colored pencil. So I'm going to put everything down, and then I'm taking a piece of, this is kind of the same red, doesn't really convey on camera, but I'm going to just take a circle punch, and I'm going to punch out a circle, and I'm going to put it right here in the middle of this, and it's going to become another ball right there. So I'm going to get those glued down. Now I just want to take scissors and trim everything that hangs off the page. It's easier to do that from the back side, because you can see exactly where to cut. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take some colored pencils in 3 colors of gray, some white, some reds, and do some shading on my Jack. And I'll just start doing a little, but I won't do all this on camera because I don't think anybody is going to really want to watch, and it's going to take a long time. But I'm just going in and light-handed, I'm adding some shadows, like where it would be a shadow cast, just to make them look a little bit more realistic and make the ball part of them more round. You know how spheres are. So I'm going to just work on some shading, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So I've done my shading on my paper ball, my little cardstock Jacks. I like that. They look better because they're shaded. And then that little paper ball I punched out, I made it look round and look more realistic with some shading. And now I'm going to use a Derwent Inktense pencil in a really deep blue, and I'm going to go around the edge of my images to kind of make them stand out and pop off the page more. You can do this with Stabilo. There's a blue Stabilo, but it's too blue. I wanted something deeper. This is a darker, deeper blue, and that's what I really wanted. I didn't want black, so that's why I'm using my Derwent Inktense. So I'm shading around my Jacks with my Derwent Inktense pencil. And when you wet it, Inktense turns into the word, you know, why it has the word ink, is it turns into a vibrant ink. And so I'm kind of just taking my water brush and wetting it and blending it out a little bit, because then it's going to show off that really pretty deep blue color and make a really fun shadow. I just thought I'd show you. And then look how nice that looks. It makes it really look shadowed. I like my shadows behind everything. It kind of makes everything stand out and pop. So they aren't so plain. And what I'm going to do next, I'm not a big fan of using sticker letters because I love to do hand lettering, and I could do some really cool hand lettering, but I have these red letters and they would really pop off the page. So I want to do the words, let's play jacks. And I'm going to use some of these. These are left over from my stash from my scrapbooking days. And I'm going to use those to do my title. I actually like the stick-on letters because of the shininess of them. It just looks like, you know, kids' time and maybe a shiny red ball. So it lends itself to this page. And I'm going to go around the letters with a Posca paint pen and then add some more lettering. And then I'll come back and show you the finished page. So I finished it off with some Posca pen around the letters. They really pop. I like it. They stand out. And then around the ball I did my favorite childhood toy. Just some cute little white doofer dots here and there, and that finishes it off. So now it's your turn to grab your My Favorite Things art journal and come up with a page spread of what is your favorite toy from your childhood. It's a fun one to do. I'm real happy with how it turned out. I love that I used the stencil of what I cut out and made that fun Jack's pattern in the background. That's kind of wild and fun. So see what you can create that's wild and fun and different. Try something new you haven't tried yet. And until next time with our next My Favorite Things, keep making art, because art soothes the heart.